The ambitious Ayushman Bharat scheme that covers 10 crore families with an insurance amount of 5 lakh rupees per family per year has just completed its first year in existence. The Modi government believes this scheme is one of its major success stories and has claimed that nearly 47 lakh people have benefited from the scheme in its first year alone at the cost of 7,500 crore rupees. Now, implementation has not been easy, with dependency on private hospitals that have resisted providing treatment at the low costs that the scheme mandates. There has also been resistance from some states. So at the end of year one, what have been the key learnings and challenges for Ayushman Bharat? Speaking to us on this is the man at the helm of implementing the scheme, Dr. Indu Bhushan, who's the CEO of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Dr. Bhushan, welcome to ET Now, and thank you for speaking with us on the India development debate. After 1 year of Ayushman Bharat, what do you think have been the biggest learnings and the biggest challenges for you?
Well, when we look back at 1 year, I think we are very pleased that it has gained good momentum, and we are also pleased that the basic design of the scheme has stood the test of the time, and the IT framework, IT structure that has been put in place has been quite robust. In that sense, we believe that the first year has been a good one, and we have built a good momentum, and now the challenge is to deepen it further. Of course, for a scheme of this size and vision and this complexity, there is no lack of challenges. We still have to reach the last mile. We have lot of people out of 50 crore people that we want to reach who have to be given more information about this scheme, increase awareness. There are 4 states who have still not joined the scheme. We need to also hope and convince them that they join soon. We still need to get some more numbers of hospitals impaneled, although we have more than 18,000 hospitals on board so far, but we believe that more tertiary level hospitals should come on board, and we also need to work on improving the quality of services, or at least assuring that the good quality services are being provided, and we need to continue to work on preventing fraud and detecting fraud, and taking actions as soon as we catch them.
Let me touch upon the question of states, Dr. Bhushan, and you spoke about the resistance from some states, 4 you mentioned, but several states are not keen to let go of their own landmark schemes or their own trademark schemes. What is their reluctance exactly? And is it really crucial for these schemes at the state and central level to be combined?
Well, on the contrary, what we have seen is that more and more states are converging their schemes, because Ayushman Bharat PMJ has given them that platform or framework around which they can converge all the schemes. Because for example, in Karnataka they had 7 schemes and they have now combined all of them into one scheme. Similarly, Kerala had 3 schemes going, they have combined them also into one scheme. At the national level also, there were several very small schemes, some for weavers and fisher folks and others, BD workers, and there is a move to combine them into one scheme here together with PMJ. And also recently we have an agreement with ESI, and we will be working together towards convergence, not combining them, but using the same platform. So this scheme actually has given a push to all the states and at the center level towards convergence, and we believe that convergence will be important because it makes it efficient. But the reason you are saying that some states have yet to converge or merge their schemes with the PMJ is because some of these schemes have been running for a long time, and they have that name cachet or brand equity. They don't want to let it go because people already know about those schemes, and abrupt change might not be very useful. So I think slowly I am very certain that all states will combine or at least converge their schemes with the PMJ.
You know, strange interesting learnings and experiences in year one, and one of that, Dr. Bhushan, was perhaps how to deal with fraud. For example, in Uttarakhand, 1200 cases of false claims for under the Ayushman Bharat scheme. The same patients' names coming over and over again. Patients who are not ill, them being used as proxies to claim. How will you ensure that this scheme is not milked by those who want to commit malpractice?
You are absolutely right, Tamanna, that we have to be very vigilant on these things, and we have a zero tolerance policy against fraud and abuse. And the cases that you see are also because of the fact that we are vigilant and we catch them, and that's how they come in media, because we have been taking proactive steps to detect and take actions against those fraud. So we have a system and we have a scheme which has a large number of checks and balances to ensure that fraud does not take place. Many of the packages which are prone to fraud are reserved only for public sector, and in addition other packages where there can be fraud, we have a strong system of pre-authorization where hospitals have to put or present the documentation before the treatment is approved. And but despite all that, we've seen some frauds taking place, and we have caught that through our system. We are working with 5 top firms in the world who are expert in looking at data and identifying some triggers where there could be a fraud or abuse going on, and based on those triggers, we've gone and had checked and did some medical audits and found that indeed in some cases frauds have taken place, and as soon as we found them, we have gone ahead and taken actions. Close to 100 hospitals have been de-empaneled. Currently about 300 hospitals are suspended, and we are undertaking further inquiry into those. We have actually filed 6 FIRs, because in some cases when there is a blatant fraud, we are taking them to criminal court, and we want criminal action against these hospitals. And we are also imposing penalties, and we actually have recovered more than 1 crore of rupees from these hospitals wherever we found that they have taken payment wrongly.
The flip side of it, though, is the role of the private sector. The true picture is, Dr. Bhushan, and you will agree, that there is still a lot of dependency on the private sector. There are more hospitals, more capabilities, but they are having to provide services under this scheme at a loss. In fact, there are reports by FICCI and EY that the private sector at several times gets paid 30 to 40%, some cases half of what it has actually cost them to provide those services under this scheme. Is it sustainable or even fair to make the private sector provide treatment at a loss?
There are 2 sides to it, and one side that I want to share is that so far we have provided more than 45 lakh treatments, and out of those 45 lakh treatments, more than 60% have been provided by the private sector. So we are talking about close to about 30 lakh treatments which has been provided by private sector. So obviously private sector have not found our rates to be totally unviable, and there is a very strong participation from private sector. Also, I mentioned more than 18,000 hospitals which are impaneled, and out of those more than 50% are from the private sector. So therefore, in general, I found that private sector has not been averse to our scheme and has been a very active participant, but I must admit that we still need more, and our target is to reach at least 25,000 hospitals by end of this fiscal year. And there has been some complaints from some certain quarters that our rates are low, and obviously one has to see that in the perspective that we are also providing large volumes, and we are proposing that the hospital should move from high margin and low volume approach to low margin and high volume, a large volume scenario, and in that sense probably these rates can work. But also I want to inform that last week our governing board met and they had asked us to look at all the rates, and we had done a very rigorous analysis of all our rates, and in some cases we did find that our rates were not viable, or there were some aberrations in those rates. So we had proposed certain increase in the rates. So we have actually gone ahead and restructured our benefit package. And in some cases we have actually reduced rates. In some cases we have increased rates, and these rates will become effective soon, and the governing board has approved it. And I am hoping that with this revised health benefit packages and with revised rates, more and more hospitals will come on board, because if that was their main concern, we have sought to address that.
Well, private hospitals may be happy to hear that, but hasn't that been one reason why rejection rates in some quarters from private hospitals have also been high?
Rejection rate from insurance company will not be a problem, because insurance companies will reject only if the rates are very high, right? Because insurance companies shouldn't have any problem in paying low rates. Rejection could come from hospitals, and there have been some reports that some hospitals reject the cases where they find they are not viable, for the rates for those health conditions or those packages is not viable. And we have come across some of those grievances, because we have a strong grievance management system as well, and we get sometimes these phone calls that so and so hospital is not accepting our case. Then we get in touch with the hospital and make sure that those benefits are not denied. So, but those cases have been far and few between. Few and far between.
You know, another area that should be looked at when we're talking about 1 year of Ayushman Bharat is the quality of treatment, Dr. Bhushan, because at the end of the day, if private hospitals have to give treatment at lower rates and in some cases at losses, how does it impact the quality of treatment, and are we measuring the quality of treatment under this scheme?
That's actually a very good question, and that's something also which is also on top of our agenda. So, for ensuring quality, first of all we need to define quality, that when a patient comes for a treatment, what all he or she should get. So, we are working on standard treatment protocols for all our packages, and we will reflect all these protocols in our IT system, so that we can follow what kind of treatment was provided. So, we will first define the quality, we will ensure that those are followed, but then we are also going to seek feedback from patients, and that will be taken into account. And if we find that some patients are not satisfied with the treatment, or they have some suggestions for improvement, we are going to be providing that feedback to the hospitals as well. But ultimately, Tamanna, what is going to happen is that people, patients or beneficiaries are going to be voting with their feet, because now they have option of going to public hospital, private hospital, between private hospitals, hospital X or Y, and obviously they are going to be going to hospitals where there's a record of providing quality services. So, in the long run, I am hoping that this system where you are providing a lot of empowerment and options to our beneficiaries is going to ensure quality services to the poor.
So, at the end of year one, and as you launch into another year, obviously you're going to hope to widen the scheme and the number of lives it touches. What are the key takeaways, and what is your outlook? What is your goal like for the way forward for this scheme?
Actually, learnings we learn every day, and based on that we keep on improving our scheme. and we learn about, for example, some problem with our IT system, and we keep improving. So, our aim for the second year is to deepen and strengthen the scheme further, and we are going ahead with the improving our IT infrastructure, making it more user friendly, ensuring that even with the weaker connectivity, the system can function. We are going to be making it even more robust in the sense that cases of fraud and abuse don't take place, and we are going to be investing heavily into awareness generation and reaching the last mile.
Yeah. Well, you have your task cut out for you, Dr. Bhushan. Best of luck to you, and we hope that the scheme really makes a difference to people's lives. That's all the time we have on the India Development Debate this evening. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.